New file, we will just give you the layout of NC Studio. Over here on the left hand side, I call this the polyline browser. It shows you all objects that you've made and enables you to tick the box and select them, also to delete them, all sorts of stuff there, and I'll go through that a bit further later on. Down here we have the dimensions window. There's no dimensions there because we haven't drawn anything yet. This toolbar down here is your toolbar. It is used for making rectangles, lines, polyline, all your polylines, shapes. Also setting the cutting order. So cut this piece first, cut this piece second, that sort of thing. Along here we have our function toolbar. Open, save, undo, redo, move, large, fit, origin, counterclockwise, left and right, compute, intro. That's most of the shit you're going to need to know. And up the top is our main menus of file, edit, view, draw, object, work mode, operate, help. So to start off with, we will make a basic benchtop. To move the job screen left and right, up and down, I hold down the button which is the mouse scrolly wheel. You can see that middle button there displayed, and while I'm holding down I can go left and right and up and zero and position it wherever. It's a good idea to have your X and Y 0 points, which is denoted by the blue line here, 0 and 0. Down the left hand side, because that's where we're going to start everything from. It makes it easier when we are having to calculate using maths where we're going to put each line and all that sort of stuff. For a basic benchtop, you don't really need to add anything, but we're still going to start the 0 point. Makes life easier. So just a quick note as well, after every step just about, I'm going to tell you to right click, escape. It's a bit of overkill, but it makes sure that you haven't left anything else selected before we start the next operation. It's very important. So to start a basic benchtop, it's just parallel edges, no miters, no nothing, just a fucking rectangle. We're going to go to our draw a rectangle tool. Just left click on the mouse button once to select it, and then you can see it's selected. I've got that little rectangle next to my cursor with the mouse button there. I'll go to 0. I will start by clicking it once with my left mouse button. That starts the beginning of the rectangle. I only clicked it once, and now I'm dragging that rectangle out to wherever. Doesn't really matter where, because we're going to do this all by dimensions. And I left click again on that mouse button to complete the rectangle. There you can go. I zoom out by the middle mouse scrolly wheel, zoom out. If I zoom out over here, it brings the zoom close to where I am. If I zoom in, I'd like to hover over the point that I want to zoom in. So hover the mouse over the point and zoom in. If I wanted to zoom out and see more of this, if I zoom out on the job, it's going to make it bad. I need to zoom out away from it, and it brings it closer to me. Just a little tool tip, that's all. So I want to right click, escape. Make sure nothing's selected. It's just a basic fucking benchtop. Over here in my polyline browser, you can see since I've made this square, I now have polyline 1. That is that rectangle there. I can click here to select that rectangle. I know it's selected by these 4 little squares I have in each corner. And I also know it's selected because of the tick in the box. I want to get out of that for a second. Right click, escape. Just show you another way. I can left click the mouse button and hold it down off the job up here in the left hand corner. Left click, hold it down, and drag a rectangle over the job and release it. And it has selected it as well. You can see the 4 little squares in the corners, and I can also see it selected up here in my polyline browser. While that's selected, I want to show you a couple of things. These little horizontal lines, not diagonal lines, are showing that I want to cut this piece out, but this is the piece that I want to keep, the outer edge. That's not what we want for a benchtop out of the slab. I need to rotate all that and change it to counterclockwise or clockwise. At the moment you can see it's going counterclockwise by these little red arrows. This is the movement of the machine head whilst cutting. So we want to change that to clockwise. That has now moved all these diagonal lines in, showing that we want to keep the internal part of this bench and all our angles are going to be, these green lines are going to be cut 2 degrees in towards the centre of the bench. We're going to change that later. Important thing to note, the reason it's important to know the clockwise or anti-clockwise, it calculates the cutting width of the jet in that. So if I put in my dimensions over here on the left, that I want it to be 400 by 100, then this edge here is going to be spot on 100, that's going to be spot on 400. If I rotate that to counterclockwise, this inside bit now here that we're not keeping is going to be 1 mil short, because it's got to allow for the tool cutting width, the water jet cutting width. So back to clockwise. So we also want it to have 0 angle because we're just doing a basic bench. I can go to edge select because everything is selected there, and it will pop up straight away. I can just hit 0 because the 2 is already highlighted, hit 0 and then go OK. It's changed all my angles to 0. Okay, so now I want to change the dimensions. X and Y refer to the starting point of my rectangle. It starts on 0x and 0y. Then I want to change my dimensions. So 1200 bench. So all I did there is I click on the left hand side of the number, hold down the left mouse button, and I can highlight the whole lot. I can also, let's escape that, I can also select my polyline here, or I can do it over here again just to reiterate. I'll do it here. I can also just double click to the left of the number. Double click, it selects the whole thing. We'll make that 1200. If I hit the tab button, it will go to the next parameter I want to change, which is the height. We'll call that 500. I hit enter to compute it all, and bang, it's already done it all over there. Right click, escape, zoom out, and I can see the bench top. If I'm worried about the dimensions at any stage, I can go over to the polyline browser, just select the one polyline, and the dimensions will show up, including the starting point. So that is a basic bench.